Hey folks, this is worksheet 5.2. I'm going to skip ahead a bit to some that I know where we get some people stuck. Hey, let's try this one, sure. So this is on the back. This is number 5. If your number 5 looks different and you want to cross one off, do this one with us. So here we go. Here's our formula. We have, again, the directions say give the equation of the line in slope-intercept form if we're given this point and this slope. So there's our formula. Our x is 0, so that goes in place of this x. Our y is 7, that goes in place of this y. And our slope is -5, that goes in place of the only m that shows up here. This x stays x. The first y also stays y, because in slope-intercept form we need to have an x and a y. So we distribute. We get -5x. I'm going to chop slash here, by the way. I'm going to call this plus a -0, which doesn't really make sense, but -5 times a -0 is 0. So we have -5x plus 0. If you want to write that down, that's up to you. You could actually just leave it -5x. On the left side, we still have y minus 7. Always distribute first, always simplify first, and then worry about solving. So now we add 7 to each side to undo that subtracting 7. So we get y by itself. We have y equals -5x plus 7. So that's the equation of this situation in slope-intercept form. We know that the slope is -5. Boom. We calculated that the y-intercept then is 7. So let's graph it. Let's plot the point 0, 7. And now let's apply the slope. Down 5, right 1. This is kind of silly, folks, because this point actually is the y-intercept, right? X is where x is 0. That y value is your y-intercept. In standard form, we were plugging 0 in for x to get the y-intercept. So that is correct. Let's try number 6. I don't know, it takes like 5 seconds to write the formula, but I think it's worth it. So our y value here is -5. So I'm going to plug in -5 for y. And I'm going to plug in 1/5 for m. And I'm going to plug in 5 for x. So there we are. There we are. Over here, you could have saved yourself some hassle if you would have realized, oh, it's a negative coordinate, so I'll call it y plus 5 instead. In fact, I'm going to write that down here for this line. I'm just going to simplify the right side first by distributing. So 1/5 times x is just 1/5 x. 1/5 times 5. Now 5 is the same as 5 over 1. So I'm multiplying fractions here. I get 5 over 5, which equals 1. If you think of this, if you have 5 fingers and you lose 1/5 of your fingers, you're losing 1/5. So we're minusing 1. That makes sense? I know, that's kind of weird. But there's how we get 1. I guess I'd rather lose a half a finger than a full finger. Anyway, so from here, we undo adding 5 by subtracting 5. So now we have y by itself, which means this is in slope-intercept form, so we get y equals 1/5 x minus 6. Use a calculator if you're not sure about this. If adding the opposite helps you, do that. So let's plot the situation. Our line goes through the point 5, -5, which is right there. And now we have a slope of 1/5. So we go up 1 and right 5, which is right about there. But that doesn't help us, so let's reverse the slope and let's go down 1, but then we have to go left 5, reverse the rise and the run. So down 1, left 5. Hey, where's your y-intercept? Isn't that at -6? Don't we have a -6 there? Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, it works out. Meh. Let's try number 8. So we get y minus 4 equals oh, just kidding. Let's think a little bit here. Oh my gosh, let's think a little bit here. See how I get myself in trouble when I race through things? There's our formula. I believe I was plugging some stuff in wrong. Naughty. Here's our x, here's our y, here's our m. Let's do a quick label. I'm late for dinner right now. So here we have y. Let's put in our y. Y minus negative 5 is what it should say, but y minus negative 5 is the same as y plus 5 equals, the slope is 1/2. Let's go x minus our x value, which is 4. So let's distribute. We get 1/2 x minus 1/2 times 4, which is the same as 4 over 1, equals, multiply across, 4 over 2, which equals 2. To undo, or to get y by itself now, we subtract 5. So we get y equals 1/2 x minus 7. Let's graph the situation, plot the point for negative 5. That's right there. Now go up 1, right 2. That doesn't help, go down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. Check that out. I think our y-intercept is at negative 7. Yep, it sure is, and that's what our algebra told us it would be. Last one, let's go here. So y equal, or y minus 1, I'm going to just go for it here and try to actually think well and substitute things in correctly. That looks good. Instead of x minus negative 6, I want x plus 6. It's the same thing, but it looks more simple. So I take 1/3 of x, which is 1/3 x, and I take 1/3 of 6. What's 1/3 of 6? It is 2, because you get 6 over 3, and 6 divided by 3 simplifies to 2. Last step, solve for y by adding 1. So we get y equals 1/3 x plus 3. Let's check it. Negative 6, 1 is right there. Let's move up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. Boom! Y-intercept is 3. Did you hear that noise? That was a pen drop. That is beautiful.